Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to the video. So we are officially 3 weeks out from the Rocky Raccoon 100-mile ultra marathon.
By we mean you.
Me. And we, meaning you, are 15 weeks pregnant officially.
15 weeks, 1 day. Almost halfway.
How many weeks out until, actually, how many days until?
174.
174 days until our baby girl is here.
We have a lot of work to do.
Lots of books to read. So every morning as I'm making my coffee before going on my morning run, I come over to the fridge here and I look at the ultrasound. And the ultrasound for me is just this reminder that the choices I make now will affect her future in the next couple months and years. So during my morning runs recently, she has been on my mind, and thinking about her and my role as a parent has been the thought process of my morning run thoughts. Good morning. Welcome to the day of a big trail run. So Steph is still asleep. I'm making a quick snack before heading out. Prepped all my gear, all my fuel. This is a piece of sourdough bread with peanut butter, honey, and banana. Just get some carbs in. It's also rosemary sourdough bread. It's good. So I'm about to start heading to the trailhead, and I'm going to wait until the sun starts to rise at least to take off. Let's go over what I'm carrying on this trail run, which will be between 4 and 5 hours long. So in each one of these, this is a Salomon vest. In each one of these soft flasks, I have 2 scoops of G1M Sport, which is going to give me 40 grams of carbs and 700 milligrams of sodium with a full electrolyte profile. So I have 2 bottles, each having 2 scoops of G1M. Then in these carrying cases, I have 4 gels total. And each side I have 2. So these are the Spring Energy Gels. I have 1 of the Awesome Sauce and 1 of the Canterbury in each side. And then in the back of my pack, I have a Field Bar. And I will also be carrying some gloves, probably start with gloves, and a GoPro, as well as my phone and a key fob. And that's the kit setup. I'm also rocking the Hoka Speed Goats, the same ones I wore for Leadville. And then watch-wise is the Garmin Fenix 6 Pro. That's the full setup. It is a beautiful morning, and I haven't been to this trail since probably this past summer. And when I would run here in the summer, the grass was so much taller right here, and there were grasshoppers everywhere. So as I would run through this trail, grasshoppers would be jumping like all over me. This sunrise is epic. You see, I love this trail because you have
trail, wood line. The lake is over there. The lake's right there. Sun is rising. Now we're gonna head up into some more technical terrain. Mile 12, gel number 2. Stay on top of nutrition, feeling strong. So what I'm gonna do is spend about the first 20 miles on these trails, and then I'll head to some roads, some backcountry roads, do about 10 miles to wrap up this run today. So 30 miles total.
I want to briefly interrupt this video to let you know it is sponsored by my good friends at SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is home security with 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. Now, when I first got to Texas in 2014, shortly after I bought my first home, and I was super excited to be a homeowner. And shortly after, I got locked into a multi-year contract with a home security system that I was not happy with. And I wish I would have found SimpliSafe back then. SimpliSafe is super simple to set up. They have amazing service, and there are no contracts. So when you get your system, the first thing you're gonna do is plug in your base station and connect your keypad. Your keypad is gonna host your PIN that arms and disarms your system. So we're gonna plug in our base station, and our base station will activate.
Welcome to SimpliSafe. Alarm off.
And now we can pair all of our other devices to the base station, which is controlled by the keypad. Now, some of those extra pieces that you can sync to your device include, but are not limited to, the carbon monoxide detector, a smoke detector, motion detectors, entry control points you can put on doors and windows, glass breaks if someone tries to break into a window. This will go off, video doorbells, and the newest device that SimpliSafe has launched is an outdoor camera that has a 140-degree ultra-wide view, a built-in spotlight, and can be controlled from your app, just like all your other SimpliSafe devices and systems. So if you're looking for a reliable home security system, SimpliSafe has you covered. And they're also gonna give you 20% off and your first month for free when you sign up for the interactive monitoring. So use the link below, which is simplisafe.com/nickbear to get 20% off and your first month for free. Thank you, SimpliSafe, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the segment. Post-run meal looks delicious. It is a homemade Mediterranean bowl. So there's some rice over there, some chicken right there that we made on the Traeger last night that was marinating in Greek dressing for about 12 hours. A spring mix, homemade roasted corn salsa. Ryder's waiting for his portion over here. There are some olives, tzatziki, hummus, and there is some feta on there. One of my favorite combinations of foods right here. So that run was 30 miles in 4 hours, 15 minutes, 48 seconds at an 8:32 minute per mile pace. Like I said, the first 20 miles were on the trail, and then I transitioned to the road and did the last 10 miles on the road. 3 weeks out from Rocky Raccoon 100-mile ultra marathon. 3 weeks. So if you would have told me 3 to 4 years ago, when I really started getting serious about running, that I would be doing 30-mile long runs on the weekends, 75 plus 30-mile weeks, and after a 30-mile run, I could operate and function normally, I would have told you you're full of crap. I wouldn't have believed you. Because when I first started running, or at least when I transitioned out of the military and got serious about my own personal running goals, not just what the military was forcing me to do, what was long for me was, in the beginning, 8 miles. And then after a few months of training, what was long was 10 miles, then 11 miles, then 14 miles, and 16 miles, then 20 miles. And here we are doing 30-mile long runs and feeling really good afterwards. And I say that because you can't compare your mileage or your paces to someone else. You can't. We're all at different times in our life in terms of our running experience or levels. And I remember back when I first started getting into running, and for me, when 8 miles was really long, and I saw people talking about and posting about their 20-plus mile runs and feeling good afterwards, I was thinking, I'll never be there. I'm not a runner. I'll never be there. And what happens is slowly over time, you increase your running volume. And that's what I want to really hammer in right here in this video, is that running volume is key. And what's so special about total running volume is that majority of that running volume, either being time or miles, is going to be spent below your max aerobic heart rate. And I've talked about this many times before. Running below your max aerobic heart rate, following the MAF 180 formula, which is what I follow, has literally transformed my ability to run long distance and run faster. And with training volume, whether you're tracking total time running or mileage, I personally love tracking mileage over time. I know a lot of ultra runners will track time, but I just love tracking mileage. I do, and I can't get my headspace out of that. So that's what I personally prefer. But over time, that volume, being weekly, monthly, or annually, is going to slowly increase, but not increase too quickly. Okay, you don't want to increase training volume more than 10% each week. And even that is probably a little much. You know, over the years that I've been super consistent with running, 5 to 6 days a week consistently for years, I have been able to increase my total training volume and with little risk of injury. And what happens is when you slowly increase training volume, you can do so safely and mitigate injury. What happens when you increase your training volume too quickly, and I've done it. I'm guilty of increasing at times training volume too quickly. Injuries flare up. They flare up left and right. And you're trying to figure out, why am I getting hurt? Well, I'm increasing my training volume too quickly. So I'll leave you with this. 1, focus on, over the long term, increasing your training volume, either tracking time, amount of time you're running each week, or mileage. And you want that to slowly increase, no more than 10% each week, maybe even 10% a month. And don't compare your training volume, the mileage you can handle, or your running paces to anyone else. We're all at different parts of this journey being runners. And run your specific race or run. Don't try to run someone else's run. Don't try to race someone else's race. Do yours. So Steph and I are at one of our favorite places that we actually haven't been to in quite some time. We haven't been here since Steph has been pregnant, and that is Hop Dotty. So we're kicking off with some Parmesan truffle fries. They always bring out the fries first in this massive bucket. Both Steph and I both have our own fries.
Because you make me.
Because I make her. And then we're waiting on our burgers. So the Parmesan truffle fry has Parmesan cheese, looks like some green onion or chive, and truffle oil. And then I dip it in this aioli sauce and ketchup. And it is one of my favorite things in the entire world.
Delish.
Personal burger of choice is the double bacon jam. Steph goes with the Lana Poblana, which used to be my favorite until the double bacon jam came out. Yeah, it's good. So at this point, I'm starting to think that Steph and I actually enjoy living in a construction zone, because as soon as we finish up one project, we are starting the next. And there's multiple ongoing projects right now. Remy has seemed to have found part of the tape that is holding down this paper. Thank you, Remy. You can have that back, I guess. What we are doing right now is adding wainscot to the hallways. Before, it was just drywall, plain drywall. We had some picture frames up top, and what we're doing is adding this wood paneled wainscot, as the contractors are calling it. Essentially, it's just a thin piece of plywood board, and then you have this paneling going vertically and then horizontally, creating this shelf, and it adds some depth and some texture to the hallways. And there is one or two more coats of paint, and then it is finished. But so far, we think it turned out pretty nicely. Growing up, one of my favorite movies was E.T. And if you remember that scene from E.T. where they had to quarantine that house, this is what it reminds me of. As I've been walking through the house the past couple days, I couldn't put my finger on it. And that's it, the scene from E.T. Love that movie. I need to watch that movie again. It's been over a decade since I've seen E.T. So hopefully this project is done this week, and then we're back to regularly scheduled business of finding the next home project to start and complete. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for tuning in to a 30-mile trail run this morning, and then a nice, beautiful Hop Dotty burger and fries to wrap up the day. We'll see you guys in the next video.